dollar mistake. Watch this.
This law professor wrote a good opinion piece on the Wall Street Journal about the private listing network. Percent. That's how many listings at America's biggest brokerage you can't find right now. Not on Zillow, not on Realtor.com, not anywhere. And some of you don't even know that this was happening. Compass is keeping a growing share of its homes in what they call a private exclusive or private exclusives. Only Compass agents and their buyers get access. And that's according to this opinion piece here. They pitch it as a giving sellers more control type of thing, but Zillow studied millions of sales and found that sellers who skip the MLS lose about $5,000 per home. In California, that number is $30,000. You either believe this protects sellers or you believe it protects the brokerage. Compass actually sued.
All right, enough of that. Look, the point is if your agent is trying to convince you to keep your listing off market and not market it correctly across the MLS, meaning, yes, you have to go to Zillow and Redfin, but whatever, they're not servicing you. They're servicing their master, which is their broker. And I always tell people it's not a good idea. I don't do the coming soon. I don't think it's viable. I don't think it's valuable to you as a consumer. A lot of agents are speaking up about this right now. And I think it's because a couple of years ago, we got that $400 million lawsuit. It's really coming to piss right now, where you either are part of the problem or you're trying to free, it's the red pill versus the blue pill or what have you. Bottom line is, if someone is doing something for you and they're telling you this is the great way, you should learn, right? 2007, 2006, 2008, all the lenders were like, oh, do the pick a pay. Alt-A mortgages, they're easy, ninja, no. And now we're in a situation where then there was a situation where we had massive foreclosures. This does not help you as a client. Look, there's a place for it. Absolutely a place for pocket listings. And that's that you want to have your privacy and you don't want to have 100 people going through your house and you don't want but you have to understand the risk behind it, because when you don't bring in the entire market, you don't know what the value is of that market, of that house. The link is in my blog. You're very welcome to go take a look and watch this guy. There's a ton of advocates out there. I know I bring this and I feel like a freaking rotating wheel. It just keeps coming back, kicking the dead horse. But the point is that these coming soon things need to go away. I don't call myself a realtor anymore, even though I'm part of the brand, part of whatever. I don't pay into their little propaganda payment thing. You can pay into their whatever, pay extra money to help feed their political party. I don't believe in that. I've never stood on either side of any political side. But this, to me, is when it's not just Compass either, right? It's real. It's my company does this. RealMax does this. Max Real, whatever the hell they're called, Remax, and all these other brokerages. They're all doing it. They all do it. They're like, oh, these are private listings. How does that help you? It makes you as a buyer, you have to go to 15, 20, 30 different sites to find different houses. It's just too confusing. It just sucks. It's ridiculous. And that's why Zillow is fighting hard for it, and I understand. But Zillow is doing it for their own greed too, right? They're doing it because they want their just desserts, which means if I was a Zillow Premier agent, I pay Zillow 40% or 60% of whatever the commission is that I negotiate. So if you're paying me $10,000 period, for what? For being a site aggregator or a lead generator? I don't believe in that either. So there you go. I believe in serving the consumer and making sure the consumer makes as much money as possible and being as educated as I can and educating my clients as best I can. And all this other whiz-bang stuff doesn't help you at all. Okay, let's go on. That was it. There's no other news that I want to talk about today. Home inspection checklist, probate, inventory is out. It's eye-opening. We're coming back up to see where I think when we settle in May, we're going to see the month supply go up above 4.6. I think that's where we're going to settle out. I think we're going to see it continue to go up. I don't think it's going to be levels, but I think we're going to see something happen here, right? And again, that is across the United States. Generally speaking, I think more cities, more towns are going to hurt over the next couple months, maybe a year, than later. There's a huge separation of those with and those without. And yesterday I showed you a map of Silicon Valley, of Santa Clara County, of the west side where Santa Clara County and my internet went out for a second, 14, and the west side all the way to Cupertino, etc. It's there's very few houses that don't sell. On the east side of 17, all the way to Milpitas and down to Gilroy, you see a larger population of it, period. This is what you're seeing here. What you're seeing here is a whole bunch of houses that all across the United States, all across the 12 counties that we track, right? And this is where we look for 6 months as the thing. Napa has 1 month over 6 months of supply, but everything else below is doing really healthy, right? And those numbers are going to shake up over the next couple months, right? We did not have a selling season. We had a weekend where rates went down below, it hit 9.9 and everybody bought. And then after like Monday, it went back up to 6.25. And then that was the end of the season. For most people, houses are still selling, just not at the pace that we want. Okay. Active number versus yada yada, number of inventory. We're still doing very healthily. This was the shakeup in 2008 to 2012, right? So you're going to see numbers jump up like this. We have nothing that's going to slow down this industry right now that we know of. Last week, I told you about the crack in the dam of foreclosures. It's a very good possibility, but there's a way to make sure that we don't see this happening, right? 15 cities of Santa Clara County. There's more, just so you know, but we're still under 6 months supply for almost every city. Even, what's this one right here? I think that was Milpitas. It was San Martin. So there you go. Our numbers aren't doing bad. You know, I think we're going to see, hang on a second. So here are the May numbers for everything. And you're not seeing anything skyrocket up, right? Over the last couple months, nothing's really skyrocketed up. So nothing really to be worried about. All right, that's it for now. Have a great weekend. I have a link to open houses in my blog, and you can take everything that you see here and